Alright guys, so I am going to cut out these holes for the speakers. The speakers that were in here, they're old. They are only like 5-inch holes, and I need them to be 6.5 or 6-inch holes. They came with a template, I marked them already, so I'm going to put some tape on the bottom of this jigsaw. Just kind of protect the fiberglass a little bit. This is a tool I don't use very often, so it's been sitting. I can't remember the last time I used it, to be honest with you, but I keep it in the package it came in, so it stays pretty fresh. The bottom of this is already like a hard plastic, but I wanted an extra protection on it. So I really don't want to deal with this fiberglass getting messed up and scratched because it's pretty clean right now. I'm probably going to regret cutting this with short sleeves on, but it is what it is. I'm going to cut these 2 holes out, get these speakers in here, and we'll move on to the next project. Let's get back to work. Wow. Get back to work. Got one more side to do. All right, that one went a little bit easier. I guess you get better as you go. But I am covered in fiberglass and I cannot stand this stuff. So I'm gonna go inside and take a Mexican shower in the sink and rinse off and blow my shirt off with the air compressor, and we'll get on to the next project. Let's get back to work. All right, so I got the holes for the speakers cut out and I put the speakers in, they fit. I'm waiting on the head unit before I run the wires and stuff, so I wanna do all that at the same time. So now I'm gonna focus on the back of the boat. I cleaned myself up. That fiberglass is terrible. I know that anybody who's ever cut fiberglass or dealt with insulation knows what I'm talking about, but I ended up having to change my shirt. I washed up the best I could, and I still feel like my arms are itching, but it is what it is. So now we're gonna focus on the back of this boat. I've got a decent amount of work to do back here. Obviously, I put the transducer on here in the last episode. I do have a new ladder for this. This ladder's pretty bent up. I was trying to straighten it, but it's just never gonna be right. I found a ladder on Amazon. I think it was like 120 bucks. So for that price, I mean, have a nice ladder, a new one, I think it's worth it. I do want to install the batteries in here. I'm gonna be putting 3 batteries into this back area right here, sitting right behind the gas tank. This piece right here is gonna house my batteries. I have not even opened this up since I got it from the powder coater, so let's look at it. Yeah, it's got some pitting in it. You can see it had a lot of pitting in it to begin with, and I was worried about that because I really didn't want to have to clean this thing up myself and paint it because it would have looked terrible. It really doesn't look that bad. It still shows some pitting in it, but I was kind of expecting that based off the condition it was in when I gave it to him. But this thing is stupid simple. It's got these holes on either sides here, and basically it has a strap that attaches over top of the batteries, and you just pull them tight over all 3 batteries. So I'm gonna install this in the back, drop all 3 batteries inside of this back compartment. Also, inside of this back compartment, we're gonna have to put a battery tender because I have to have a battery tender in all my boats. It's a necessity to me. I mean, I'm not gonna get in there and take the batteries out, and I'm not gonna get in there and put little gator clamps on them to charge them separately. So I bought a 3-bank Noco Genius battery tender and charger, and that's what I put in all of my boats. So I'm sure it's gonna be fine. I just gotta figure out where I'm gonna install it and how I'm gonna hook it up. I haven't even opened this yet, obviously, so it's kind of an unboxing. But this is a Noco Gen 5 by 3. You get 5 amps per each battery. So it's a total of 15 amps charging, but they're split between 3 batteries. Now that's gonna take a lot longer than a 10 amp one, but the price difference in this one and the 10 amp was like 200 bucks. And I don't need something like that because I don't fish with tournaments, I don't run this trolling motor, I don't run any of the electronics in here for an extended amount of time. So this thing is perfectly fine for what I do with it, and I had the same one in my old boats, they work fine. I'm going to install this into this back compartment. I'm probably going to put it on the side over here, on the port side, just because there's a little bit more room over there. It has the oil tank over here for the 2-stroke motor, and this side is open, so it's pretty simple. I love opening new products. Well, there she is. It's pretty small, lightweight, so it will get the job done. It'll be exactly what I need. I can come home and plug it in when I get home from fishing, and majority of the time I'm gonna be using this boat for, you know, 4 or 5 hours a day. So it's not like all the battery is gonna be completely drained. So I can plug these in, and overnight they'll probably be fully charged by the next day. If I do take it to Lake Gaston for a whole week trip, when I get back I charge them and it's perfectly fine. So this thing is gonna work out, and it's gonna be more than enough for me and my family. I'm gonna try to figure out where I'm gonna put these parts in here. Let's get these things installed in the boat. Let's get back to work. Alright, so today is Wednesday, September 28th. It's about 5:30. It's literally 2 days until my birthday. I was really hoping to have this thing out on the water and enjoying it on my birthday, but obviously that's not going to happen. It's alright though, because we have some type of hurricane coming into Florida. It's going to rain us out here for the next week anyways. So last night I was trying to work on the boat and I started feeling really bad. I had a fever and I ended up taking a COVID test, and I'm positive for COVID-19. It's been kicking my butt. Luckily with the ibuprofen and the Tylenol, I'm kind of keeping my fever down. I've been laying in the bed the entire day today, and I just can't take it anymore. So I've got to do something. I'm gonna try to put this head unit in here. Just came in the mail. This one that's in here, it's a Kenwood, it's a CD player. It's deep. It takes up a lot of room up inside of this glove box, and this one is a lot smaller. It's just Bluetooth. And that's really all we need. I mean, who uses CDs anymore, really? I have this same one in my old boat that we just got rid of. It's a pile. This thing is stupid simple. It's easy to hook up. It's easy to use. It's got some cool blue LED lights in it. It's got a remote. It's going to be a lot smaller than the one that's in there, and I'm hoping that it'll sound good. I mean, it's 300 watts, and this thing's going to have a lot of power. It's going to sound pretty good with these speakers. So I'm going to try to get this old one out of here and get this one in here. Let's get back to work. Alright, so these speakers are a little bit more involved than I thought they were going to be. The ones I use in King Neptune did not come with this RGB power inverter, which isn't really a big deal. This basically just has a power cable, which is going to hook in to the original harness, which this one is the original harness that plugs in behind the dash unit now. So I'm just going to splice this in. These two right here are the sync out. So these are basically if you were running more speakers or lights that you wanted to have synced with the same system and controller, you can use that. I'm just going to wrap these up and tape them. We're not going to be having any other lights that are synced up with these speakers. So then these two outs are the ones that actually plug into the speakers. So the speakers have the same connection on them, and then they have these adapter cables. They look like they're about 20 feet long. I'm hoping it's going to be long enough. The stretch from, you know, the dash unit to this hole, I'm not worried about. I'm worried about the one that's going to go from the dash unit all the way around to the opposite side on the starboard side. So the way that it looks like they were originally ran is it actually hooks all the way around the back of the boat. I know this cable's not long enough to do that. More than likely what I'm gonna end up doing is drilling a hole up in this front and wrapping it around the bow and bringing it back in on this side over here. So I'm hoping that's long enough. But basically, this wiring harness is the stock harness that's gonna plug right into the boat. So I'm gonna try to use that. It does come with these wires, which is for the speakers themselves, because the speakers have these little clips on them like all speakers do. I don't think we're going to need these because they're already ran right here and hooked into the other side of this harness. So what I'm going to do is just hook those up to this harness. Obviously you see we've got all these purple, green, blue. So we're going to be using the purple and the gray. These are going to be our left and right speakers. We're just going to hook these up to the purple and gray in here. I'm not going to be using these. These would be for another 2 speakers if we had 4 speakers. We're only running 2 speakers. So I'm going to hook this into here. I'm going to hook this in with the power into here. And then this is the other harness that plugs into the back of our new dash unit. This one's pretty simple. You just got your power cable in here. The blue is your remote. So you can run that on an always hot if you want to keep it to where your settings don't shut off on the actual head unit, like your time and the radio stations you save. I don't really care about that. I'm going to have this thing on a battery cutoff switch anyways, so it's all going to get lost. I'm not really worried about that. So basically with these, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the red and the yellow together and the black's going to go to my negative. So I'm going to try to get all this stuff hooked up to this harness, and then I'm going to test it, make sure everything works. Then I will disconnect it and I'll run it all, make it nice and neat and hidden. Let's get back to work. Alright, so I got it all hooked up and dry connected and everything works. So now I'm going to come back and I'm going to put it all together with marine heat shrink connectors, make sure it stays waterproof. I did just hear back from my turf guy. They expedited my new turf. They sent it out and it's actually an upgrade to a 6 mil. So I'm hoping to see that in the next day or so, and hopefully I'll get that wrapped up and put in the boat this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and get this entire radio fixed up and installed and run the rest of that stuff, and we'll get on to another project. Let's get back to work. So I got the radio installed, it's cleaned up, looks really good. I did get all the rest of the parts that I was waiting on in the mail. This is the power cable for the console unit, and this is the quick connect bracket for the 73 that's going to also be at the console. And this is my old Garmin 73 touchscreen. This is what I'm going to put at the console. I love these quick connects because I put these in different boats and interchange them all the time. It's very easy. I also got these, which I was waiting on these to get the batteries installed. These are pretty simple. It's like little stainless steel belt loops. This is what I'm going to put onto the metal bracket pan that holds the batteries on either side. That way I can run a nylon strap around the top of the batteries. Let's get these installed and get these batteries in here. Let's get back to work. All right, so this back compartment is pretty much wrapped up. All 3 batteries are installed. They are hooked up to the battery charger. I do have a plug on the way for this. That way I don't have to open this back compartment to charge my batteries. I'm probably going to install that plug somewhere over here or somewhere so I can get to it easily. I haven't cleaned up all these wires in here yet because I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with the trolling motor. The trolling motor that's on here is a 12-volt trolling motor, and I don't really want to have a 12-volt trolling motor. I'm hoping that I can get 24-volt with some type of spot lock on it, but I've at least got to have a 24-volt trolling motor. This is a pretty good sized boat. I do have a trolling motor I can put on the boat if I have to. It's not spot lock, but I'm going to see what I can come up with. I'm going to move on to something else now. Let's get back to work. All right, so I'm still kind of on the fence with the whole trolling motor thing. I'm going to try to get a new trolling motor if I can. I really want to have spot lock in the boat. I mean, I'd love to have Panoptics too, so I'm still kind of up in the air on that. I'm trying to tie up as many loose ends as possible though before this turf gets here, because once the turf gets here, I want to put this stuff in the boat, and I'm hoping that it's going to be right so I can get it installed rather quickly, because I'm hyped about stuff like that. Anyways, I know I got to run these wires for this console. It's got to have this fish finder here, and then this is the new cradle that I got. It holds a 73 SV that I'm going to put at the console. Same exact one I run in my tracker. It's just a different cradle and power cable and transducer connector. And I'm going to get this thing installed, and as you see, all these pieces, they just plug into the back of the actual cradle. So this head unit, I can just snap it in and out. Makes it super simple and super easy. That's why I love Garmin products. Snaps right in. It's going to mount right up here. I might put this up on a ram mount, or I might build some type of custom graph bridge to get it up a little bit higher. I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but either way, it's probably going to cover up my speedometer, which I don't really care about because this thing has a digital readout and it's a lot more accurate than the speedometer that's in the boat. This is done by GPS. I'm going to go ahead and run these wires up here for it. Then we're going to figure out how we're going to mount the actual graph. Let's get back to work. All right, so we got power at the graph at the console. This thing is going to be sick in here. I still have to hook up the transducer cable. This is running off the transom, and this is our network hub cable, which is going to connect to the front graph. The one in the front is going to read off the trolling motor, and I want to be able to share images between the 2 of them and mark waypoints. So I'm going to probably try to figure out a way to mount this up on a ram bracket or build some type of custom graph bridge to get it a little bit higher, because it's kind of dead space up here. And I think I would like it better if it was sitting just a little bit taller. All right, so it's Thursday, September 29th, about 9 p.m. Tomorrow is my birthday. I'm not gonna tell y'all how old I am, but I feel like an old man right now because I have been battling COVID for the past 3 days, and it's extremely strange. I mean, I've been sick a lot of times in my life with the flu and a cold and all that stuff, but this is weird. I mean, the only symptoms I had from COVID was a high fever and fatigue. I wasn't nauseous. I never had any headaches or congestion or anything like that, no sore throat. So it's just body aches and the temperature. And I've been moderating my temperature and controlling it with the Tylenol and ibuprofen. So I just feel cold all the time and my body is aching. Like, it really is insane. I mean, I have severe aches and pains in my body, especially in my legs and my lower back. I don't know, some man-made crap. Anyways, we made a lot of progress in this video. I got the head unit installed, I got the speakers installed, I got the battery tray installed, all 3 batteries, the battery tender, I ran power up and hooked up the graph that's gonna be at the console. So we did a lot of stuff. I'm really looking forward to this turf getting here. This turf should be here the next couple days, and my plan is just to finish up the rest of the electrical. I only have a couple LED lights to put in here, and then I have to hook up the graph bridge and the trolling motor up on the front. But other than that, it's just turf and seats and then decals. This thing is gonna be a wrap. I mean, honestly, it's probably never gonna be finished because I feel like everything that I own in my life, not just boats, is a work in progress and it could always be better, and there's always something I want to do to it. So I'm never going to say anything's completely finished, but it'll be the final reveal video. Appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like, subscribe button, leave a comment if you're interested in what I'm doing. If you have any ideas or you need any products, send me an email. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'll see y'all next time. I gotta get back to work.